Hello everyone and welcome to today's session on Python. Today we are going to talk about list and list comprehensions. So let me, without further ado, start the session. I have Vikram waiting for the session. Hi Vikram, sorry for the delay. We have Gulam Azan Ansari. Hi. We have Shravani. Hello. Alright, so let me give you a brief intro of what a list is. So let's quickly open our journal and see. So we're going to talk about list and list comprehensions. And this pen has decided to not work today. Okay, list and list comprehensions. Hi Jay. Hi Ravindranath. So let me give you a brief introduction before everybody else joins, and then we'll move on to the Jupyter notebook. Hi Kedar. Okay, so what is a list? List is one of the most versatile data type available in Python, which can be written as a list of comma separated items between square braces. So if you see anything like this, square braces and a list of comma separated items. Okay, let's say 85. Right, this, let me take you to the new page. Braces 2, 5, let's say 9. Okay, this is basically a list of comma separated values that is enclosed within square braces. All right. Hi Shivam, Priyanka, Kushal. We have Amir. Which language is it? Amir, this is Python. We have Girish, Sarita, good evening. Gautam, Ashish, Hemant again. Hemant, this is Python. Hi Rami. Alright. Let me take you to the Jupyter notebook itself. So we have list and show this to you as a markdown. So what is a list? It's a list that is list of elements that is comma separated and enclosed within square braces. So something like 36, 52 and 89. This is a list in Python. Now items in the list in Python need not be of the same type. Those of you who know arrays in Java would know that an array would hold elements of the similar type, but in list this is perfectly okay. So you can say hello, then you can say 56, then you can say maybe. This is a perfectly valid list. It won't give you any error. It will let you create a list like this. All right. Hi Hemant, this is Python. Yuvraj Shekhar, good evening. Hi Sandeep, hi Prasad. Alright, and Sai Kiran has a question for me. When will the Java classes be? Sai Kiran, will try to take Java classes maybe 2 or 3 sessions later. Once we are done with this, we have dictionaries classes class next Monday, and after that we'll have, I guess, 1 or 2 more Python sessions, and then maybe we'll come back to another Java interview question session. So you'll be posted and updated through YouTube. To make sure you subscribe to it so that you know when a new Java session is happening or what the next session is. Alright, so next, I think next session is already updated on the channel. We have it next Monday. It will be on tuples and dictionaries. Hi Sanjeeva, hi Divya. Alright, so moving back to list, let me share the screen. Yep. Now, as you can see, this is the basic format and structure of a string. Now, like arrays, strings also have indexes. Alright, now the first index starts from 0. So let's say if we talk about the list that we have just seen, 35, hello, 56 and A. Alright, if we talk about this list, you can see there are 4 elements. Now let's store this in a variable test, execute it again. Now if you have to access the elements, you will have to start from index 0. So test 0 will give you the first element, that is 35. Test 1 will give you the next, and so on. So the last element will be the length minus 1, that is element number 3, A. Alright. Now the most basic data structure in Python is known as a sequence. Alright, and Python has 6 built-in type of sequences, but the most common ones that you'll see are list, range and tuples, of which we will cover list in this session. Alright, now moving on further to show you some functionalities that you can perform with list, let us create 2 lists. Let's say create one for prime numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. Okay, this is a list of prime numbers. Let's create one for the Fibonacci series. So let's say we have 1, 1. The next number in the Fibonacci is 2. Then we have 3, 5, 8, and let's take till 13. Okay, so this creates 2 lists, prime and Fibonacci. Now if you want to print the list, all you have to do is type the name and hit enter. You'll get the values of the list. Let's say if you want to access some particular element of the list, so we'll have, let's say, want to access the element at index 2. So simply say square braces index 2, hit enter. You'll get to see the first element, this is index 0, we have 2. Index 1, we have 3. Index 2, we have 5. So if you want to print the value at any index, just put it in the square braces and you'll get the value as output. Fine. Alright, let me get back to the chat before I move any further. Hi Dinesh, good evening. We have Amir Reddy, hi. Hi Ravi. Don't understand, can you please explain once again? Okay, let me get back a little and start. List is basically a comma separated element list which can be heterogeneous. Unlike any other programming language, a list in Python is heterogeneous. So you can have integers as well as strings in your list, right? If you want to access any particular element, you have to refer to it by its index. So it starts from 0, next element is index 1, next element is index 2, and so on, right? So let's say we have created these 2 lists, a list of prime numbers till 13 and a list that has Fibonacci series till 13. If you want to print the list, all you have to do is simply type the name. You will get to see all the elements of the list. If you want to print a particular element at a particular index, all you have to do is say prime and give the index number. So it will print the element of the list at index 2. Alright, so far are we ready? We have discussed this. Now Priyanka says I'm not able to download Python because my PC is not upgraded. Can you tell me a temporary platform where I can practice till I upgrade it? Priyanka, I'm not sure of the temporary platform that you can practice on. I think the best way to go about it is upgrade your system, whatever it is. Either it is a Linux, upgrade it to the latest version, or if it is a Windows, run the upgrade, and then you will be easily able to download the latest. Python 3.6 is, I think, the latest version on your machines, and later on, then you can download Jupyter Notebook on top of this, which is what you are seeing here me working on. That should be the best way to go about it, because then you'll get a hang of how to download and everything, and also you will get to work on Jupyter Notebook. If you go on to some online portal to practice, you might end up working with an interpreter where you have to work on file and then execute and run, etc. Do all that drama. This is fairly simple and easy, so I think upgrading your machine is the easiest and the best way to go about it. Okay, now going back. Narala has a question. When we use print prime, okay, let me show you. If you say print and you say prime, all right, you'll get the exact same thing. It's just adding one more function you are adding to print the list, while you don't need it. If you directly give the name, you'll be able to print the list. So there's no point of, saying print prime when prime is giving you the same output. All right, Narada? Amiradi, you say you still have a doubt. Let me know what your doubt is and then we'll take that. Hi, Mustafa. All right, so moving further on this. Now, if you want to print, let's say from 5 to 11, okay? If you say prime, that is the name of the list, you get the whole list. But if you want to print a range of elements in this list, say from 5 to 11, how you do it? Very simple. Say print 2 to 5. Now remember, these are indexes. So by 2, I mean it will start from 5 because it starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, we are starting from 5, and 3, 4. Fifth element is not printed. So 2 to 5, fifth index element will not be printed. All right, when you say print 2 to 5, sorry, my bad, this is list name prime 2 to 5. So when you say prime 2 to 5, it will print list from 2 index to the 5th index, and 5th is not included. So you print from 5 till 11 itself. Ravi, you don't have to give range, but if for some particular reason, if in your program you want to print the range or you want to know the elements in a particular range, you can use this feature. Or let's say if you want to print all the numbers till 5th, okay, then you can do it like this. Let's say you want to print all the numbers from 2nd index till the end. This is it. So depending on the requirement that you have for your program, you can use these options of printing the list. How to print list using for? Kedar, why would you want to print a list using a for loop when it is fairly simple and straight to print it without using it? I would recommend not using for loop to print a list. Don't think like you are still working on Java, you're working on Python, and just typing the name is enough. So you don't need to invest time in writing a for loop for doing a thing that you can do in a single line of code. All right, now we have seen two lists, right? Prime and Fibonacci. Now there are a few basic operations that you can do on list, like this: prime plus Fibonacci. Now I want you guys to tell me what will this print. Any ideas? Prime plus Fibonacci, what will it give? Why 3 doesn't come in place of 5, 7 and 11? You mean to say in this line, in line number 11 that I have executed, I think you're referring to this because the output here is 5, 7, 11. So Amiradi is asking why the 3 doesn't came in place of 5, 7 and 11. Because Already we are starting from index 0. So the first element is 0 index. The next element is 1. The next is 2. So when we say 2, we are coming here at the 5th element. Correct? That is why we start from 5, then 7, then 11. And we stop. We don't go till 5th index. We stop before the 5th index. Okay? I hope this answers your query. Alright, now to my question. Sum of corresponding indexing values, Prasad says. All the numbers present in prime in Fibonacci, that is Priyanka, print the whole list. Combine two lists containing the prime number in Fibo. Prints both. Alright, Kedar, Kushal, Priyanka, you're all correct. Let me just execute this and show it to you guys. So you see, it shows you the prime list 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, followed by the Fibonacci, that is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 and 13. Alright, now what will happen if you say prime star 3? What will be the output of this? Prime star 3. Now I am doing a multiplication by 3, multiplying my list that is prime by the number 3. What will this do? Okay, yeah, Ravi was also right. I missed that. Priyanka says repetition. It will repeat all the prime numbers. How many times, Priyanka, will it repeat? Ravi says all the numbers will be multiplied with 3 and they will be printed. Okay. Narela says the same thing. She's multiplying all the prime numbers by 3 and then printing it. Kedar says list 3 times, 3 times, 3 times. Kushal, Priyanka. Alright. So all of those who have said that it will print the prime list 3 times are correct. So you see, it will repeat your list. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. This becomes the first. Then the second, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. And then finally the third repetition, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. So how many times you multiply your list with, that many times it will simply repeat the list. It's not going to multiply your individual elements by 3. Okay, it will just print your list 3 times. So if you have to say repeat some set of elements again and again, simply create a list of it and then multiply it by it. You don't have to bother about writing some loop of some sort, etc, etc. Okay, that is where this might come handy. Now let's create one empty list. So you just say variable name equal to square braces. This creates an empty list. Now how to add elements to an empty list? We have a function append, whatever the number you want to give. Let's say 44 and let's add on a few more. Let's say 55, 42, and let's say one more, 20. Let's add these 5 elements to our multiplying elements. Okay, now let's print the list and see what we get. Okay, all the elements that we appended to the list in the same order, 44, 55, 42, 44 and 20. Okay, now what next? Let's let's do some operations on our list. Indexing, everything we have already seen. If you want to find the length of your list, we have the function len. So you say 5 elements are there in the list. Simple, right? If you want to find the minimum element in the list, again you can do min. We have a predefined function max to find the maximum element in the list. All right, all these functions are already present. Okay, what more we can do? Let's see. Okay, if you want to insert an element at a particular index, now as you see, when we append, this is what we have, e, right? If you do an append of, let's say, 34 and then print your element, it will always add that element at the very end. Okay, but if you want to add your element at a particular index position in the middle, you don't want it to go to the end, you have the function insert. Okay, say I want to insert 90 at the index 2. We use it. So first is the index where you want to your value to go, and the next parameter is the value. So insert 90 at the index 2, 0, 1, 2. You see, at the index 2 we have 90. Okay, now that was about addition. Let's take a look at deletion. If you want to delete, so let's say we want to remove 44. Okay, so when you do e dot remove 44, the very first occurrence of 44 will be removed from the list. Print e, you see the 44 that was there in the output line 24 at the very first is removed. Now the first element is 55. All right, let me quickly do a few append. Let's say 55, then let's say add a 40 and add a 55 again. Okay, now this is our list. Say we want to count the number of times a particular number is occurring in the list. What you have to do is simply say count 55. Give you the count. 3 times we have 55 in our list. 1, 2, 3. What will happen if you give a number that is not in your list? It simply says 0. This number is not in the list. All right. Now the next thing that I would want to tell you is how to check whether a value is present in your list or not. How do we do that? Simply, there are 2 operators that we can use, that is in and not in. So if you want to check whether 44 is in the list, say 44 in e. Now this will result to true if 44 is in the list, or false if 44 is not in the list. Okay, so shift enter, true. Now again, say 82 we are checking for, not in. So this now will return true if 82 is not in the list. Okay, pretty clear from the statement that is there, right? If 82 is not in the list, this will return true. All right. Now removing of elements is also pretty exciting. There are 2 methods that you can use to remove your elements. One is remove and one is pop. Now what is the difference? If you say pop element at index 2, it will remove that element from your list as well as print it out for you. But if you say remove and then give the value 55, this removes the element from the list but doesn't print it out. So if you say e, now before this we had 55 and the whole list, right? Now 42 is removed from the list and 55 is removed. So you see the 42 is removed and 55 is removed. 55 from the front is gone and 42 as well is gone from the list. Alright. Okay, someone asked about sorting, how to sort a list. To sort a list, what you have to do is fairly simple in Python again, since it is functions are already written present for us to use. Simply say sort e or e dot sort and then print e. So as you can see, this is what our e is in the current state. If you do a e dot sort and print e, you can see your list is sorted, right? Let me get back to the chat. I see you have a few questions. Bodla Vikram, your question is now answered. By multiplying two lists throws error. You cannot multiply two lists. There isn't this functionality of multiplying two lists. You can multiply a list by an integer number. You cannot even multiply it by a floating point number or a string or any of that. It's simply saying that you have to, it's simply a repetitive operation. So you want to say this particular list, I want it to be printed 3 times. You say list into 3. That's it. Hi Ravi, that's okay. I think you can cope up with the session. How to find the length of the list or last index of the list. Kedar, if you want to find the length of the list, we have the function length. Okay, so as you can see, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 elements in the list, and when the length of the list is 7, it is pretty clear that the last index of the list is 7 minus 1, that is 6, because the indexes start from 0. Alright. Getting error if using any other operators between list. Okay guys, since most of you have this question, not every operator will work on the list, right? It's just the plus and the multiplication. Plus when you want to append two lists to each other. So one list plus followed by the second list, right? Let's say right now I am using e.append to add a single element. You don't want to do that. You want to add one complete list to your previous list. That is, you want to add multiple elements to your current list, right? That is when you can use your plus operator to append the list or more than one value to your current list. Also, multiplication simply when you want to repeat your list n number of times. So if you want to repeat it 2 times, multiply it by 2. If you want to repeat it 5 times, multiply it by 5. These are the only 2 operators that you can use on list, and in exactly the similar format that we have just seen. Okay, if you try to multiply the list with a floating point number, it will throw you an error. Let me just show it to you. If let's say we try to multiply this with another list, someone asked me if you multiply 2 lists together, it is giving an error. You'll see an error. Can't multiply sequence by non-int of type list. You can multiply a sequence only by an integer value. Okay, say if you do it 4.5, it will give you the same error. You cannot multiply a sequence, that is a list, by anything other than integer. Okay, so any non-int you try to multiply it with, it will throw you the similar error. Kushal is asking, can we append multiple values? Of course we can append multiple values, Kushal. We have seen it at the very starting of the session. You see, you add more than one value to the list by simply concatenating 2 lists to each other. Okay, create 2 lists and you're good to go. Kedar also had the same question, can we append multiple lists? So if you want to append multiple lists, plus is a fairly simple function, multiple elements to the list. Hatim was asking length of the list. Len E Hatim is your answer. Can we multiply the values of list with a particular number? I think what you're trying to ask is multiplication of the individual elements of the list with a particular number. We'll take a look at that in a while. Fairly simple thing to do. We'll do it in a short while. Rajesh, okay, before I turn to Rajesh's question, we were at sorting, right? We saw e.sort to sort our list. So before I move on to your questions, I want to finish this sorting thing. So what sort does is it returns an immutable type. Now if you want to change this, this becomes immutable. Now what sorted does is it returns a mutable type which can be iterated. Now same thing, let's say we create a T, 45, 23, 56 and 90. All right, that's it. Another way to do is do this, sorted T. All right, and you get this. Now if you print T again, this will give you back in the order it was, 45, 23, 56, 90. So if for some operation you want it to be sorted but you don't want to change the original order in which you created the list, you will use sorted. Okay, because sorted will give you the sorted order list, but later on when you want to use T, you can use your original list. But what happens when you use sort, you saw E was of this order, 90, 44, 20. We did e.sort, and then if we print E, it always comes in the sorted order. We lose the original order of our list when we use sort. But when we use sorted, the original order of the list does not change. Okay, so you can store your sorted order list in another variable. So do this. Now T will remain the original order and T sorted you will get in the sorted order. All right, that is the difference between the two sort options that are available, the sort option and the sorted option. All right, another interesting method that we have for list is the reverse list. If you want to reverse your list, how does it work? So the method is reversed. All right, and you simply pass your list inside this reversed. Now what it does is the reverse method returns an iterator. So to print it, you need to convert it to a list. So we'll simply say list and input of reversed. All right, so you see your original list E was sorted order in ascending, 20, 34, 40, 44, 55, 55, 90. Now someone just asked me how to do it in descending order. You get it, right? Just one line, 90, 55, 55, 44, 40, 34, 20 gives you your list in the reversed order, right? Descending order basically. Okay, can we divide a list in two lists? Of course, there were slicing functions which you can use to divide your list in as many number of lists as you want, right? So if you say prime this to 5, okay, sliced list, fine, and then you print slice list. So you see the original list was prime 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. Now if you want to divide this till 11 only, or let's say till 11 was fairly, let's say we do it till 3. Okay, so 2, 3, 5 remaining you can put in another list. So as many lists as you want from this list, you can create by slicing using these operators. 2 to 5 you can create one list, starting till 3 you can create another, 2 till the end you can create another. So as many lists as you want you can create by chopping off your original list. It's fairly simple operation. Manish just joined the chat. Can you please tell me which topic of Python are you teaching? Manish, we are talking about list today. Can we use customized sorting for string also? Ravi, I would recommend you try it on your own. It would be very interesting to try sorting on strings and you'll really enjoy doing that. I'll stick to numbers for the day. All of you go back, try doing sorting on the strings, and if you have any doubts, we'll take it up in the next session, or you post it in the chat, we'll take it up on the chat. Just go back, try sorting your string list, or even better, take a heterogeneous list, let's say a mix of numbers and strings, and try doing sorting on it. And even if you get any error while you create your list or while you try to do any operation on the list, it should be fairly easy to get a hang of what the error is. Like you saw, we just did a multiplication of a list with a list, and we got a very clear error message that a list cannot be multiplied with any other data type, any other non-int data type, right? Which makes it very clear to decode the error message that you can only multiply a list with an integer number, right? Similarly, when you're practicing anything, whatever we have discussed so far, make sure that you go back and do it on your own, and if you get any error, try to decode that error, because decoding your error in the program is a very integral part of day-to-day coding. You need to be able to see what the error is and fix it in your program, right? So don't get scared when you see any error while you're working with anything new or anything old. Just read your error message clearly, and especially in Python, the last line of the error message, whatever is the last line that you see in the error message, is very crucial and tells you everything about what is wrong in the code. So try to read it carefully and then go back to the program and check what you're lacking, or whatever comma, brace, colon is missing in the program, which generally is the issue when someone is new to programming or someone is new to a particular language. You miss those simple things here and there, correct? So coming back to your question, Ravi, go back, try it out. If you get any error or if you get any issues, post a comment on this video link and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But I'm pretty sure that you won't have any problem when you do that, okay? All right, we have one more from Kedar. When we pop element from list, it returns element or it will be deleted? It will be deleted as well as it will return the element. When you remove, it is deleted, but it doesn't return which element is deleted, right? But when you pop, you are giving the index. So it tells you that this number was at the index and I have deleted this number from the list. All right. What will be the sorted order if there different type of data types are given in a list? That's what Priyanka was just saying. Take a heterogeneous list and then try to perform all these operations on the heterogeneous list. Sorting, sorted, try with both and see what you get out from there, okay? Now next up, let's see what else we can talk about. We have seen sorting, we have seen reversing, we have seen slicing. Next I would want to tell you is slicing and striding. Let's say you don't want all the values that are in the list E. Let me show you the list E. Okay, you want to iterate by a number of steps. How you can do it is, say E starting from 0 index till, let's say, index number 5. You get this. Let's say till index number 7. We get our complete list. Okay. Now this we have seen. We can change these two values. This is the starting index and the second is the end index, till where you want the value. Okay, now there can be one more parameter right here that will tell you what is the step. Okay, so step, let's say 2. Now you don't want each element, you want alternating elements. Okay, say what will happen if we do 1. 1 will give you the complete list. You want alternate elements, step 2. So you start with 0, leave 1, 2, 40. Then leave 1, second, 55. Then leave 1, second, 90. Similarly, you can step as many times as you want. So when you step on 3, it says print the element, then print the third, first, second, third element. Then again print that first, second, third element, that is 90. Alright, so that is where stepping comes into picture. Now someone asked how do we do reversing? Now, reversing can be done like this also. We have already seen the reverse method, right? Another way reversing can be done is just do this. Start till the end and step -1. Step -1 will mean you are stepping from the backward, 90, 55, 55, 44 and all of that. So it will simply reverse your list in just this one slice of code. 90, 55, 55, 44, 40, 34, 20, right? You can use the reverse thing also that we just saw. It's doing exactly same thing, reversing your list. And again, another way to do the same is using the -1 operator here. Okay, all right. So although fairly complex programs that you would have ideally done in Java or C before writing for loops, like let's say for example checking whether a string is a palindrome or not, spells the same forward and backward or not. Let's say we have example that I'm taking a very short example. You can take anything you want, right? Now you want to check whether this string is a palindrome or not. All you have to do is use the comparison operator and do this -1. So this will give you the reverse. This has the original. If both are equal, your string is a palindrome, correct? Let's say we have another one, MADAM. All right, and execute it, true. Now if we do this, it should result in false, right? So the whole looping program that used to reverse through your whole string from the back and then test, compare it with the original number, has reduced to one single line of code. All right, sorting a string in a list is working. Okay, Vikram has replied to the questions that everyone was asking, but I would still ask all of you to go back and try it on your own to see the details of how it is working, what if at all you get an error, what error you are getting, and try it on a heterogeneous list. Like I said, don't just do it on a string list, try it on a heterogeneous list, and once you do it on your own, you'll find it very interesting. Second max number in the list. Okay, you can use slicing operation to remove the first element from the list and then check for the element in the remaining list, right? Say, okay, where did I show you the slicing operation? I'm just going back to show you where I did that. Right, so 2 to 5, when you do, let's say your first occurrence of the element is at index 0 or 1, which you can find out. After that, you can iterate from the next element. Let's say our first element occurs at index 1. You iterate from 2 to end of the index, end of the list index, right? To check for it again. Correct? That way you can find the second or the nth index, nth element, nth occurrence precisely of the element. Prasad says sort and find -1 value for second max. That is also perfectly legitimate way to do it. You sort your list and you do a -1. You will find the second max if you'll find the second max. I'm not sure, Prasad, if that would work. Like the question Vikram asked was how to find the second max number in a list, right? So if you do max, you get directly the maximum number in the list. Now when you sort your list and do a -1, you will get the last element. So for second max, you have to do a -2. So remember, indexing works negative also when you are working in Python. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then -1 is the last. So -1, Prasad, would be your maximum, not the second maximum. -2 would be your second maximum element. So your idea is correct, the number you have mentioned is incorrect. You sort the list so that it is in order and then check for -2. -2 will give you second max, -3 will give you third max, and so on. Or you can sort reverse and then you have it in proper order: maximum, second maximum, third maximum, fourth maximum. That way also you can get an access to the list. All right. Kedar is asking, in EA to B, A is index and B is number of elements. No, in EA to B, Kedar, A is the starting index from where you want to start and B is till where you want to go. Okay, so if say you don't give the value of B, you leave it empty, so the output you will get will start from the first index that you have given and continue till the list goes on. Similarly, if you don't give the first index, just give the second index. It will start from the starting, reach till the second index that you have given, and it will stop there. So the two values A and B that you have mentioned are the starting index and the end index. Okay, that way you can slice your list. You have this big list, you give the starting index, you give the end index, it will give you the middle list that is there. Okay, if you don't mention the starting index, it will take it from the start till your end index, and if you don't mention the end index, it will take from the starting index till the end of your list. All right, moving back, what more do we have? Technical Hooter says good tutorial. Thank you so much. I'll let my team know that they have prepared a good tutorial. And what else? How to compare two URLs using assert. Amar, I won't take that up in this session. I'll keep it to list. But comparison is again a fairly simple one-liner in Python. I'll do one thing. I'll leave that in the comment below for you to check. Okay? After this session, I'll leave the answer to your question in the comments of this video. Is there any to use max for second max? I think, Prasad, you meant to say, is there any way to use max for second max? We have fairly simple ways to find the second max, Prasad, two of which we have already seen. So I don't think you should bother about using max for second max. Let max be for max and let's see how we can find the second max easily. Iterators and its methods, Amar, will come up in a subsequent session, not in today's session. We are not going to talk about iterators and their methods, but we are going to see iterators in one of the upcoming sessions. All right. Kushal says sorting won't work on heterogeneous lists. Kushal is trying everything simultaneously and I'm really impressed. Okay, what else? We have Pawan who says Which sorting algorithm does sort method uses? Pawan, I don't know which sorting algorithm sort method uses, and I think I don't even need to worry about which algorithm is running in the backend. Until and unless I'm getting the work done and it is faster, I'm good to go. You don't have to bother about all these details that generally people working on Java and other languages very highly focus on. How is the memory managed at the backend? Which sorting algorithm is used by this function, etc., etc. Your work is done. You should be happy, and it is. Like I said, your work is done, and it is done in real time, fast, quick, as big the list is. So I'll see if I can find out the answer to this, but I don't think you need to bother about what is the backend algorithm that is functioning, or how sometimes people ask questions. I've seen people asking questions to Ashok and asking how the memory is allocated, what is the memory allocation scheme, etc., etc. So like he says again and again, I'll reiterate him right now. You don't have to bother about what is the underlying functionality. Your work is done with sorting. Your work is done. Rajesh says make it 2 sessions for a week. Rajesh, I will see what I can do about that. If I can make it 2 sessions a week, which is highly difficult thing to do, but I'll see what I can do about that. Alright, so before we close the session for today, I have one more thing that I want to tell you guys. Let me jump back. Alright, so far we have seen list functionalities, list methods. Now we are going to talk quickly about list comprehensions. Okay, now list comprehensions are used to construct a list in a very natural, easy way. Okay, and they provide very concise way to create a list, right? Let me show you how. Let's say we have a list P that is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Another list Q that again is 6, 4. Now this right now here I'm going to talk about a function called zip. What that function does is it returns 2 values as pairs. Okay, we'll see quickly how it does that. 6, 4, 8, 2, and let's say we make them not equal list. So the Q has one extra element, and then let's say we have R. Okay, 3, 8, 4, and 2. Fine. This is our R. We have 3 lists. Now what we want to do is we want to find the sum of these lists. And by sum I mean 1 plus 6 plus 3, 2 plus 4 plus 8, 3 plus 8 plus 4, 4 plus 2 plus 2. And any element that is extra, we don't need to bother about that. So we want to find the sum till all the lists are at the same level, right? One fairly simple and easy way to do that and get a list out of it is what I'm going to do here. So say x plus y plus z for x comma y comma z in. Now comes the function that will integrate these 3 lists together, that is zip. So say zip p comma q comma r. Now let me explain it step by step what this function is doing. I have taken 3 just for the sake of it, and I have added one extra element in q so that you guys see what will happen to that element. Okay, what we are doing it, we are zipping these 3 lists together, P, Q, and R. We are then using list comprehension. So for x plus y plus z, for x, y, z in zip P, Q, R. So X is the element that is iterating through P, Y is the element iterating through Q, and Z is the element iterating through R. Now when we say X plus Y plus Z, for the first iteration it gives 1 plus 6 plus 3. That is the first element of the list. Second, 2 plus 4 plus 8, and so on. So just execute it. You see, you will get a list that gives 10, 14, 15 and 8. So it is 1 plus 6 plus 3, 2 plus 4 plus 8, 3, 8, 4, 4, 2, 2. That is 8 again. So this is one of the most interesting uses of list comprehension. Alright, let me show you another way to use it. Say for X in P. Okay, X star, let me do it like this. X star, that is multiply, three for X in P. What will this give? Now one of you asked me this question, and the answer to the question I have just typed in on the screen. What is this line going to do? X star 3 for X in P. So by for X in P, you simply mean that you are iterating through your list P. So X will be 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, right? And for every iteration, you are multiplying your number by 3. Okay, so just run it. You'll get 3, 6, 9, 18. Sorry, 3, 6, 9, 12. Now I remember someone asked me a question that when you are multiplying your list by the number 3, you are repeating your list. What would you do when you want to work with the individual element of the list? You don't want to repeat the list 3 times. You want to multiply each element of the list by 3. And this is how you do that. You use list comprehension to work with individual elements of the list. Fairly simple, right? Let's say you want to do something with the Q. Let's subtract 2 from each element of the list in the list Q. So let's say Y minus 2 for Y in Q. And it will subtract 2 from your elements in Q. So Q had 6, 4, 8, 2, 9. We got 4, 2, 6, 0, 7. When you want to work on the individual elements of your list, you use list comprehensions to do that. Okay, let's take another interesting example. Let's say we have a string. Let's call it dummy, and say it has a mix of numbers and characters. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is our dummy string. Now how will you write a program to extract all the numbers from this dummy string? Again, we'll use comprehensions. How do we do that? X for X in our list, that is our string, basically, that is dummy. Okay, if, how do you check if the character is a digit? Simply say X dot is digit. Okay, and you will get a list of digits 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4, 5, 6, 7. So this way your list comprehensions make so many operations so very simple in Python. You don't have to write a loop, or you don't have to iterate one by one. You simply say X or X star 3 or X plus Y plus Z, whatever, for X in your list or your string, and you give the condition. If at all you want a condition, you give the condition. If you don't want to apply it to all the elements, say if we don't use this if condition, it will print all the elements, right? It will print all the elements of our string. Had this been a list, it would have printed all the elements of the list. If you don't want that, you want a particular condition to be applied, you simply say if this condition is true. It will then use the condition to print it. Now, one more thing that I want to point out right now is, say if you don't want a condition, okay? You get your list like this. You can specify, alright, you cannot do that in the list. Let me give you another example to do the same. Say we have someone asked me in one of the previous sessions, how do you capitalize the first letter of each character? So in one of the previous sessions on string, perhaps when we were talking about the functions provided to work on strings, one of you asked me what function or what functionality is there provided by Python to capitalize each letter, or if there are a few words of which first letter you want to capitalize in the string, how do you do that? Now the hint is to use list comprehension to achieve that functionality. So you traverse through your string and you use list comprehension to do that, to capitalize the first letter of whichever word you want to capitalize on strings. Okay. Ankit has asked how to perform list comprehension. Ankit, like we just saw, this is how you perform list comprehension. For X in P, that is basically list comprehension right there for you. So for X, that is each character, in P, that is your list, and if followed by the condition. So let's say, let me give you a syntax for it. If we want any operation, the operation will be here, like we have seen y minus 2 x star 3 operation, followed by the for, followed by the variable that was used for traversing, okay, in your list, right? And if any condition that you want to give. This is your list comprehension in one line. Any operation that you want to perform for the variable that is iterating in the list, and any if condition that you want to perform on that iteration that is happening for you guys. Okay, that is basically what list comprehension, or how list comprehension functions. That is the syntax, if you are looking for the syntax of list comprehension. Alright guys, that was it for the session. Go back, I would repeat the two things that I want you guys to try. Create a heterogeneous list, work on it. There won't be much that you can do with a heterogeneous list, so move back to a numbered list or a string list and see what operations you can perform on a string of numbers, a list of numbers and a list of strings, right? Check out how both of them work, how both are different from each other, etc. Then I think list comprehension is one of the most widely used things when you are working in Python. So try to go back and practice a lot of list comprehensions, because the more familiar you are with list comprehensions, the more easier it would be for you to work in Python and create nice, optimized, concise, short, simple looking code, right? Another question that I would want, another problem rather, that I would want you to try out is, take a string and try to capitalize the first letter of each word using list comprehension. Don't do it using the functions provided by strings library. Do it using list comprehension. Traverse through your string using the list comprehension. Try to capitalize the very first character of each word using that. All right, and if at any point of time when you are doing all of this you get any doubts, post your doubts or queries in the comments of the video and I'll get back to you. Or maybe you can raise your doubts or queries in the next session whenever we meet next Monday perhaps will be the next session. It will be updated on the channel. Subscribe to the channel so that you get an update of when the next session is. And we'll see you in the next session. We'll talk about tuples. Let's take tuples in the next session and dictionaries in the next session. So list and list comprehension are done. We'll talk about tuples and dictionaries in the next session, and maybe in the next session we'll take a look at sets. And I think with that we would most probably we're done with most of the Python. Maybe do a doubt clearing session after that, or do a Java session. Someone requested for a Java session, so maybe after sets we can take up a Java session. Some interview questions on Java would be interesting for you guys, I guess. And then maybe we'll come back to a few interview questions or something in Python. All right. So if you have any topics or suggestions in mind for Java, or what you want to know in Python, drop that also in the comments below, and we'll take that up in the future sessions. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, guys, and have a nice day and happy coding. Bye bye.